My name is Becca. I'm a fourth-year undergraduate student in the program in the environment, and I'm the grant manager for the U of M Sustainable Food Program. And if I were a vegetable, I would be a winter carrot because winter carrots are very sweet and they get to be warm in the soil all winter, which is very nice.
Hi, everybody. My name is Braden. Becca and I will be emceeing this event for most of the night. I am currently a junior. I'm in program in the environment and economics as well. I am currently the farm stand education manager, and next year I will be one of the co-presidents of UMSFP. And if I were a vegetable, I think that I would be an asparagus. Because I'm tall and kind of skinny and got a little hair going here. So I think that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, so Rooting for Change, this event today, is a food justice summit that's put on by the University of Michigan Sustainable Food Program. And we're looking to highlight and amplify student voices, especially pertaining to food systems work within the University of Michigan community. So we have lots of cool and exciting events planned for you today.
Yeah, we do. Lots of those events are about amplifying student voices. Like we said, today we have learn shop sessions that are, basically students put together some presentations with some educational material for other students to, learn about. Following that, we will have tiny talks, which are students sharing their own experiences with food justice and sustainability.
So I'll just quick introduce our next speakers, which are Emily and Morgan. So Emily and Morgan are the co-presidents of the University of Michigan Sustainable Food Program. So Emily is studying elementary education with a focus on mathematics. And if she were a vegetable, she would be an edamame bean because she would get to hang out with her other bean buddies in a pod. And Morgan is an undergrad student at U of M as well, and she's studying environmental law and policy within the program in the environment. And her vegetable of choice would be green beans because they remind her of peaceful summer garage sales at her aunt's house when she would be tasked with snapping the season's green beans from the garden. So I guess Emily and Morgan, if you would like to take it away, please do so.
Thank you, Becca. So hello, everyone, and welcome to Rooting for Change, the U of M Sustainable Food Program's first annual summit. Like Becca said, my name is Morgan, and I'm a junior studying program in the environment with a minor in public policy, and I'm one of the co-presidents of UMSFP along with Emily.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I echo again, thank you so much for coming tonight. We are so excited to have all of you. As you know by now, my name is Emily Van Heitzma, co-president along with Morgan, my partner in crime here. So before we get started with the event today, on behalf of UMSFP, I would like to first acknowledge the land that us U of M students are learning on. As U of M students, we have the privilege of living, working, and learning in the traditional homelands of the Three Fires people. The Ojibwa, Odawa, and Potawatomi people lived on and stewarded this land, now known as the Great Lakes, for hundreds of years before settlers created the colonial state. The Three Fires people continue to live on this land today, while the University of Michigan financially benefits from these lands that were ceded to the federal government in the 1817 treaty at the foot of the rapids. With this statement, we acknowledge and denounce the societal and state-sanctioned violence inflicted on Indigenous peoples. These words are not enough, but may they serve as a reminder that we all must take actions to restore right relations and stand in solidarity with the Anishinaabe, the first people of this land. So thank you for joining me in that acknowledgement. And now Morgan and I are going to tell you a little bit more about who and what UMSFP is. So the University of Michigan Sustainable Food Program, like Becca and Braden started to tell you, we really exist to organize and amplify student voices on campus that are calling for a more just and sustainable food system. So who exactly is UMSFP? Well, we consist of a paid leadership team, which you can see their beautiful faces here. This team consists of both undergrad and graduate students, and we work closely with stakeholders both on and off campus, such as the campus farm, Mesa Blue Cupboard, M Dining, and Argus Farm Stop. But most importantly, we are all UMSFP.
So what does UMSFP do? Our core work involves supporting students all across campus with our member groups and our working groups. We have 3 themed working groups which serve as spaces for any student on campus to get their hands dirty in our work as we seek to make our UM food system more just and equitable for all. We also offer many grants to students and student groups on campus who are working to improve our food system. This past year, we saw the pilot of our soon-to-be permanent farm stand, a place where students can purchase affordable produce that was grown right here at our campus farm. Finally, UMSFP puts on 1 to 2 big events every year, one of which is this summit, and the other is Harvest Fest, which is hosted at the campus farm and engages both students and the Ann Arbor community in a celebration of harvest time.
Yeah, so here are some pictures from our last in-person Harvest Fest. Unfortunately, this past year we had to do it virtually, but Harvest Fest is typically our annual fall event. We've had it for 8 years now. It takes place at the campus farm, as you can see, in non-COVID times. And this event's purpose is to engage students and community members in Ann Arbor in a celebration of the fall harvest. And our big spring event is, of course, the one you are all at right now, the Rooting for Change Student Food Summit.
So just a little bit more information about our farm stand. We had our first trial run this past fall, which was held weekly on Thursdays, and where we sold produce that was grown on the campus farm, and any leftover produce was then donated to the Maize and Blue Cupboard. The farm stand is a cool opportunity for hands-on learning and to access sustainable food systems on campus. We also plan on opening the farm stand this next July and remaining open until November, so we look forward to seeing some of you there.
Yeah, and UMSFP also has working groups, which were new this year and I've been loving personally. Working groups are free-thinking, low-stress spaces to engage in food projects on campus, created for students from all backgrounds, majors, and experiences to join in our work. Working groups usually meet bi-weekly in the afternoons and evenings, so if any of y'all are interested, please let us know. We would really love to have you. So there are 3 themed working groups, as you can see here. The first one is anti-racism in the food system. This is a discussion-based group, and we've been exploring different food system inequities and having really cool discussions. We're actually in the process of planning a dialogue series with the campus farm to hold conversations around a 21-day equity challenge. The second working group is called Net Lead, and this is a more project-based learning group or working group that is currently working on establishing a food justice mutual aid platform for students, where everyone can share resources, information, and cool tips on food justice and sustainability issues and events happening here on campus. And finally, our third group is the Farm Stand Working Group. And this is focused on student and member group engagement with our food access efforts here in the community.
And now just a little bit more information about our grants and other resources for our member groups. So our grants fund up to $1,000 for innovative projects related to food sustainability or food justice, and any student org is eligible to apply as long as the project deals with sustainable food or just food systems in some way. We also support member groups and the work students are doing on campus by marketing events and related information on social media and in our weekly newsletter. If you have anything you would like us to promote or advertise, please let us know with this email and we'll be sure to advertise that for you. Next, you will all be hearing from Davis Booz, the Campus Farm Student Engagement Manager. Davis is a senior studying comparative literature and environmental law and policy in Pike. Thank you so much for joining us, Davis.
Hey, yeah, thanks for the introduction, everyone. I also want to thank everyone at UMSFP that had a hand in making this possible. I think we've got a couple of exciting evenings ahead of us. Is it possible for me to share my screen, or should I just go off the cuff here? Either one is fine with me.
You can share your screen if you'd like. Morgan, go ahead and stop sharing.
Thank you for that. All right, let me make this bigger here. So yeah, I presume that a lot of people here are somewhat familiar with the campus farm, but I guess I'm just going to do a high-level overview for maybe for you guys who aren't familiar with it. We're a student-run farm just off campus on Dixboro Road. North of the river, we have 3 acres in vegetable crop production. We also have 4 of these fairly large hoop houses that let us grow produce all year round. We've got some spinach and kale going in there right now. And we're at the site of the botanical gardens, the Matai Botanical Gardens. So we share some heated greenhouse space with them. We have an acre of wheat research, and we also have 3 acres in a more permaculture style perennial edible landscape. And this past fall, we had 25 students on staff, which is the largest the campus farm has ever been. And we're growing every year, so that's super exciting. And so now more of an update of what we've been up to over the last year. We sold almost 35,000 pounds of produce in 2020. You can see cherry tomatoes, lettuce, kale and chard, also sweet peppers and some summer and winter squashes make up a lot of that 34,000 pounds. Most of that food was sold to the dining halls, but we're also really proud to say that within in last year, we contributed over 6,000 pounds to the local food security network. And we're especially proud of that, of course, in a year with so much uncertainty surrounding the pandemic. Most of that food, or a lot of that food, I should say, went to the Maize and Blue Cupboard right here on campus. A lot of that food also went to community partners as well. The farm at St. Joe's, Food Gatherers, and Oakland Avenue Urban Farm. We worked with all of those partners to get food out to people who needed it. And this is also a pilot program we did in the fall. It was a pretty unique experience. We partnered with the Herb Institute, graduate students in both Seas and Ross. And there's this garden over here, kind of in the backyard of the Ginsburg Center, the Ginsburg Garden on a hill in East University, if you're not familiar with it. It's a fairly unassuming plot. Here's what it looks like in the top right when you're standing inside of it. But myself and a couple other Campus Farm crew members worked with Herb graduate students to plant this out. Here's a couple of rows of arugula, and we had some kale and some greens as well. And all the food that was grown there was harvested and walked right over to Maize and Blue Cupboard with the volunteers. So it was great to, make that humble donation to MBC and also get some graduate students who might not have been involved in the local agricultural space, kind of do a full cycle walkthrough of what it's like to contribute to that system. So that was really cool. And that was so successful. We're going to do the same thing with the dental school now. So some of you might know this garden is called the Help Yourself Garden. It's in between the Power Center on the left and the USB on the right. So that was started by the dental school a while ago. It's kind of been neglected for a little bit. So the campus farm is helping them get that going again in the next few weeks here, actually. And all the produce that is grown from that is also going to be donated to the Maize and Blue Cupboard. This fall, we also had the first ever class taught at the campus farm by Jeremy, our program manager. So it was great we could do that even with COVID. The outdoor classroom came in quite handy. There's a 3-hour-a-week lecture at the farm every week. You can do things like learn about kale while walking through a field of kale. And then the lab portion is essentially just working alongside the campus farm crew for a few hours every week. So it's very much a learning by doing type of thing. That's also happening next fall, or this year in the fall. I put the info straight from the course guide. It's Environ 465. If any of you guys are interested, I believe it's on the PITE spreadsheet too. And we should be offering it every fall for the foreseeable future. So that's a great opportunity to learn more about the farm, and we were super excited we could reach the campus in that way. I also wanted to highlight some of the DE&I work that's happened in about the last year at the campus farm. Our DE&I manager, Kisa, put together last year a really comprehensive climate survey that worked with all the stakeholders surrounding the campus farm. So obviously the people that work there, but also our volunteers, FCF, the student org we work with, and the staff at the Botanical Garden. So we were able to learn a lot from that data, which was great. We did a roundtable in the fall, which was very kind of self-reflective, and we figured out what was working well, what we needed to stop doing, what we needed to start doing. And she's also put together a strategic plan that carries us through 2022. And that's really just to keep an emphasis on having our DE&I go into everything we do at the campus farm. And here's some more external facing, I guess you could say, DE&I work that's happening at the farm or is soon to happen. We just started growing some culturally appropriate foods, which is underway as we speak. The DE&I committee did a little bit of survey work to figure out what foods people would like to see at the farm. Some cooking demonstrations with the maize and blue cupboard, and we are also very close to having better transportation to the farm. We're working with Lyft to get free transportation for students to the farm, which hopefully will roll out in the near future. That's been a large obstacle to getting students involved equitably at the farm. And I should also say here that Kisa, our DE&I manager, is doing a learn shop tomorrow about how to sow the seeds of the future through the practice of having inclusive conversations where everyone feels like they belong. She can speak to this stuff much more in depth than I can. She'll also be speaking this evening about food justice in the 21st century. We also have some efforts at carbon neutrality that have been picking up steam recently. A farm committee was formed 2 years ago now to do an initial assessment, but now carbon neutrality is the subject of a SEAS master project. We're bringing on an intern this summer that is going to be focused on that work as well. And also an Environ 391 class project is working on carbon neutrality. So a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but it's a good thing. We're happy to have them all. So we're still in the assessment phase, learning what levers we can pull to achieve carbon neutrality and hopefully achieve that goal in the near future. And last but not least, we continue to engage with students all across campus. I'm the student engagement manager, so this is under my purview. We've had great progress over the last few years. In the fall of 2020, this beautiful curve was interrupted, unfortunately. We had to limit our work days to 10 people and take various other precautions. We're hoping to start those up again in the next few weeks as the weather gets nicer and we can be outside and nice and distanced safely. And we'll certainly also do some things over the summer and then next fall for those students who are returning. So if you're interested in coming out to the farm and getting hands-on experience with your local agricultural system, you can scan that QR code, which will send you to a sign up for our mailing list if you'd like. And you can always email any questions to the campus farm or myself or Helen, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. So thanks for the time, guys, and I'll hand it back over.